Okay, so we're going to start without further ado. We're going to start with the last part of applied history. From after this, we will be completing our chapter, and I will be sending a question bank as soon as our class ends, so that you are able to write the answers and the notes in your notebooks. Now, if you don't have a notebook, then that's okay. You can use your last year's history or geography का notebook. उसमें पीछे के कुछ pages होंगे, so you can use that and start writing notes in that, right? So even if you don't have a new notebook, that's completely fine, but that should not be a reason for you not working. All right, now we start our last half of the chapter. So before this, we spoke about what is applied history, what is public history, then we spoke about different fields of knowledge and their history. So we spoke about history of philosophy, history of science, history of history, and all of and everything in a lot of detail, right? Now we move on to another part of history, which is called heritage. Can you all guess what is the definition of heritage? What is heritage? I want everybody to answer on chat. What is heritage according to you? There is no set definition or rule for it. Fatafat, I'm giving you 10 seconds, okay? 10. Opportunities. Interesting. 9, 8. Heritage क्या होता है और सोचो. 7, 6. उमर इस क्लास में तुम सो तो नहीं रहे हो ना? 5, 4, 3. All monuments and natural life. All right, amazing. मस्त कॉपी किया तुमने अभी जो मेरे स्लाइड शो दिखा रखा है उससे. नेचुरल लाइफ तो पक्का उससे ही ऐड करे हैं. 3, 2. Anybody else? Tradition, culture of our country. Amazing, Anisha. 1. All right. So what heritage is? Anything that we inherit माने जो हमें हमारी पिछली generation से मिलता है, right? So this is not formal education, this is not science, maths, SST, but beyond science, maths, SST, we also have a culture, okay? We also have a way of life, we also have certain destinations, certain spaces, right, that we actually inherit, right, that our past generations give to us, okay? So there are so many things like a festival, like a religion, like the forts, right, and even the religious places. So everything together comes under heritage. What else comes under heritage? The second part of this, I've also written natural heritage here. So Himalayas belong to India, right? So that is also, no, Didi, I've seen from English book. Amazing, Ankit. Okay. So natural heritage is something that, like, India has Himalayas, right? We have Himalayas. It's a gift from nature to us. We didn't do anything to deserve it, but it's a part of our country and we are supposed to protect it, right? So it also becomes a part of our heritage, even if it's a gift of nature and not of the past generation, right? So both of these, everything, all of these things combined together become the wider definition of heritage. Heritage basically means adopting traditions, adopting culture, adopting ideas. Along with that, also inheriting certain monuments, certain buildings, certain religious places. And along with that, the third thing that we also inherit is a lot of nature. Okay, now we will go definition wise into everything in detail. So heritage is divided into two parts, as you can see in your in the presentation: cultural heritage and natural heritage, right? So we will first talk about cultural heritage. Before that, if I ask you, what is the meaning of tangible? Can you tell me what is the meaning of tangible? Okay, things. Yes, Ankit, you're right. So anything that we can touch, see, and feel is tangible. Okay, we'll just keep that in mind while I'm defining cultural heritage to you. Sculpture is an example of tangible. Okay, sculpture is not tangible in itself, it is an example of tangible. Now, when we talk about cultural heritage, things that we inherit from our culture, okay, those are the things that we're talking about. Now, इसका example क्या है? हमारी country का culture और इंग्लैंड का कल्चर दोनों अलग अलग है. ओके, तो हम लोग जो कल्चर अडॉप्ट करते हैं, जो कल्चर हम लोग अपनी जनरेशन से लेते हैं, वो सेम कल्चर इंग्लैंड में बैठा हुआ इंसान नहीं ले रहा होगा. सो हमारा कल्चरल हेरिटेज वुड बी डिफरेंट. ओके, नाउ अगर हमें बचपन से सिखाया कि हमारे सामने कोई बड़ा इंसान आया है तो उसके पैर छूने, if we do the same thing in England, what do you think, will that be appropriate? If we go and touch somebody's feet in England, we just go to an Englishman and then just touch their feet, do you think that would be appropriate? No, right? Because it's not a part of their culture. It's a part of our culture. So everybody has a specific culture and we inherit that culture from the past generations. We take that culture, we learn that culture from the past generations. You did not read in any textbook that you have to touch the feet of your elders. You saw that in your life. You observed that other people are doing that. So you did that. Like before going to a temple, you will take off your shoes or take off your sandals. Nobody taught that in a textbook to you. That's something that you just learn being and living in a culture. That is cultural heritage. Now, did you understand what is cultural heritage? Guys, can you type on chat if you understood? Okay, amazing, Anisha. I'm waiting for others. Great. So, cultural heritage is divided into two parts. शिवा, कल्चरल हेरिटेज माने जो हमें अपने कल्चर से मिलता है. ओके, एनीथिंग दैट वी गेट फ्रॉम आवर कल्चर, मतलब हमारे पुरानी जनरेशन से जो भी हमारे ओल्डर लोग हैं, उन लोगों ने हमें कुछ कुछ चीजें सिखाई हैं जो हमें बुक्स नहीं सिखाती, राइट? ये सिर्फ हमें हमारे बड़े लोग सिखाते हैं. तो जो हमें बड़े लोग सिखाते हैं, दैट इज कल्चरल हेरिटेज. ओके, नाउ दिस इज ऑफ टू टाइप्स. वन इज टैंजिबल, द अदर इज इनटैंजिबल. टैंजिबल कल्चरल हेरिटेज वो होता है जो हम वी कैन सी, वी कैन टच, वी कैन फील. ओके, so these three things would come generally with some structure. Okay, now what are these structures? Like our past generations built a lot of temples, they built a lot of forts. Because of that, we learned about their culture, we learned about how we have to follow a religion, right? So if we didn't have a temple, we won't have a central point, or if we didn't have a mosque, we will not have a central point for our religion. We will have nothing to go to. So they build that temple for our culture, right? So that is a part of some things that we inherit from our past. Okay, so tangible cultural heritage वो चीजें हैं जिन, they are things that we can see, touch and feel, and they are a part of our culture. Okay, do you think that Siddhi Vinayak Mandir will be a part, or Haji Ali will be a part of the culture of any person belonging to America? Guys, respond. Do you think कि अमेरिकन लोगों के कल्चर का पार्ट सिद्धि विनायक मंदिर या हाजी अली होगा? No, right? And do you think that Karan, how come yes? Okay. And do you think that Taj Mahal, that is a part of India, would that be a cultural heritage of America? No, right? It will be a cultural heritage of India because, yes, Karan, the Indian people in America का होगा, but Americans के लिए नहीं होगा. Good point. Okay. No, but natural heritage, we'll come to natural heritage. Don't worry. I'll tell you. Okay. So, अभी के लिए tangible heritage पे focus करते हैं. So, these are the things that we inherit from our past, and they are things that we can see, touch, and feel. The other type of cultural heritage that we inherit from our older generations are things that we cannot see, touch, or feel. Okay. Can you give me an example of some cultural, random cultural heritage that is not a thing? If I ask you to give me an example of cultural heritage that is not a thing, then what would it be? Try. Do you think? अच्छा चलो मैं तुम्हें 10 seconds देती हूँ, then I will give you hints. 10, 9, 8, 7. Things that we learn from our elder generation, right? Things that we learn from the older people, that is not an object. What can it be? Can it be stories that they tell us that are not written anywhere? Can it also be certain rules that they tell us? Folk tales, amazing Karan, yes. What else? Sanskar, amazing. Values, amazing Mahmood. Why are you all writing to me privately? Write on the everyone wala chat. What about the rest? Respect, yes. We're talking more towards the cultural side, Shiva. So how do we respect? Right? We respect by either folding hands or touching feet, right? That is what our culture teaches. Okay, so what else would come under it? Do you think where would festivals come? Tangible or intangible? Tangible or intangible? What would be festivals? What would be Diwali? What would be Holi? What would be Ganesh Chaturthi? What would be Eid? Intangible. Why do you think intangible? Why not tangible? Okay, how tangible Mahmood and how intangible Ankit? Tell me. We do see diya, we touch diya, we see the mosque, we touch the mosque. Acha guys, whoever is writing tangible, can I ask you something? Do you touch Diwali? Do you see Diwali? Yes, Ankit, exactly. Do you touch Diwali, Karan? How do you touch Diwali? Let me also see. How do I worship Diwali? I worship the Lord, I worship the God, but do I worship Diwali? No, I celebrate Diwali. Diwali is an emotion that we all celebrate together. That's celebration, Karan. It's not a thing. Diwali is not a thing that comes in front of me and I go there and I touch it. Diwali is not placed in London or Diwali is not placed in Mumbai. I don't have to go anywhere to touch Diwali. I can stay at my home and celebrate Diwali, right? Even if it's worship of God, I can do it at my home. I'm not going to a particular location. Okay? So it is, festivals are intangible. Okay? Because they are celebrated as a group and you can celebrate them anywhere. Okay? So they are intangible. What else is intangible? Oral stories. Your generations, past generations tell us a lot of stories. Then there is a lot of local knowledge. Local knowledge में क्या होता है? जैसे the celebration is tangible. No, Sanya, celebration को हम tangible बोल सकते हैं क्योंकि हम सामान use करते हैं. Yoga, amazing, Saurabh. I'm going to get back to you. But festival in itself, Diwali or Holi, will be intangible. Okay, Sanya, don't confuse yourself. Okay, Saurabh just wrote to me privately that yoga is intangible cultural heritage, which is an amazing example because it's a knowledge that has been passed to us from generations. Earlier, it was not even written down. There is no scientific evidence to it. It's not a study. We don't do it in our classrooms, but it is our cultural heritage, right? More than even yoga, knowledge like अभी जैसे कोरोना वायरस चल रहा है, हमारी इम्यूनिटी लो है, तो हमारे घर वाले लोग कहते हैं हल्दी का दूध पी लिया करो, इम्यूनिटी बढ़ जाती है, राइट? किसी ने नहीं बताया, किसी साइंटिस्ट ने नहीं लिखी ये बात, बट वी नो दैट हल्दी हैज दोस प्रॉपर्टीज टू इंक्रीज द इम्यूनिटी, सो we start using haldi like that, right? So that is intangible knowledge, that is oral tradition, that is given to us from our past generation, from my grandmom, from her grandmom, right? So that is tulsi, use of tulsi in our home, okay? And ऐसे बहुत सारे और uses भी होते हैं, I'm sure you also know about it. Even the stories that you know about your villages, that becomes intangible cultural heritage, okay? Things that you cannot see, touch or feel, these are the things that you can celebrate, these are the things that you can know about, these are oral traditions, these are oral knowledge, okay? That is intangible cultural heritage. Now itna clear hai? Not clear? Clear? What should I explain again, Sanya? Intangible, इंटेंजिबल का वो मतलब है जो कल्चर को हम टच या फील नहीं कर सकते, वो कल्चर, राइट? सो इट वोंट हैव फोर्ट्स, इट वोंट हैव टेम्पल्स, इट विल ओनली हैव नॉलेज दैट इज पास्ड ऑन. नेचुरल कल्चर अभी एक्सप्लेन कर रही हूँ मैं करण, अभी तुम्हें कल्चरल हेरिटेज हो गया या नहीं हुआ? ओके गाइस, स्टॉप. फर्स्ट टेल मी, डिड यू अंडरस्टैंड tangible and intangible? Yes, no, maybe. Yes, amazing. What else? Let's see. Okay, maybe. No. Okay, मैं थोड़ा सा और दोबारा समझाती हूँ, शायद तुम्हें समझ आ जाए. अभी मैं इसको आगे एग्जांपल्स भी दूंगी तो तुम्हें समझ आ जाएगा, ओके? डोंट वरी, आई हैव पिक्चर्स सो यू विल अंडरस्टैंड अ लिटिल मोर. थोड़ा सा भी समझ आए तो चलेगा. नेचुरल हेरिटेज के अंदर क्या होता है? डू यू थिंक ह्यूमंस मेड हिमालयाज? डू यू थिंक वी मेड हिमालयाज? Or do you think we made Western Ghats? Or do you think we made forests that are there in India? Who made it then? Who made the forest? Who made the Himalayas? Nature, right? It's a gift of nature. But do you think Himalayas belong to China? Do you think Himalayas belong to China? Who do they belong to? Who is responsible for Himalayas? Indians, right? Do you think Eiffel Tower nahi, Eiffel Tower nahi. Do you think okay, let's not go there, right? Nepal and India, good job Shiva, smarty. Okay, so you basically got my point. The point is that we did not build nature, but we inherit nature. Why do we inherit nature? Coincidence that they belong in our country, okay? There are a lot of coal mines that belong in our country. There's a lot of mountains, lot of rivers. Ganga is a part of India. We didn't do anything to deserve it. It's a gift of nature, right? But once we inherit it, जैसे तुम्हें कोई बर्थडे पे गिफ्ट देता है, राइट? जब तुम्हें गिफ्ट वो मिल गया तो उसको संभाल के रखने की जिम्मेदारी तुम्हारी है, right? Similarly, once nature has gifted us something, gifted us nature, then to preserve it, to save it, to conserve it, uski responsibility is ours. So it becomes a part of our natural heritage, things that we get from nature, that we inherit from nature, okay? And that we preserve, that we take care of, that we protect, right? So protecting Himalayan boundaries is a responsibility not of China but of India, because it's a part of our heritage, our natural heritage, okay? So that is basically natural heritage, inheriting certain things from nature is natural heritage. Now, what do you think is the difference between cultural and natural heritage? What do you think is the difference between cultural and natural heritage? Try. आज का क्लास लंबा होगा, पहले ही बता रही हूँ guys, okay? Stay ready. What do you think? Natural heritage includes natural things, yes. And cultural heritage, what does that include? Do you think culture is also gifted by nature to us? Or do we make culture? Are we the makers of culture? Humans? Yes, right? So culture is human made and natural heritage is gifted to us by nature. Okay? That is the main difference. And then in culture, we have two types of culture. One is the things that we can see and touch. The other things are the things that we cannot see and touch. Okay? Amazing, guys. Amazing. Good job. Now we move forward. I'm going to explain this in a little more detail. This is the example for cultural heritage tangible form, things that we can see and touch. When you go to the fort, you can see its wall, you can touch its walls. Now on the left hand side is an example of an Udaipur fort. This is the kind of fort that can be made only in Udaipur because they have that kind of sand to make this fort and that kind of space. This cannot be made in Mumbai, right? And this is the fort that we can see, touch, or sense. Is it clear, Mahmood, now? I didn't think that there was a... Is voice not clear to everybody? Or is it clear? Guys, not clear? Clear. I think तुम्हारे उससे भी हो सकता है, तुम्हारे नेटवर्क में प्रॉब्लम भी हो सकता है. Check your network. Okay. We're going to move forward, huh? That's fine. Let's see. Try listening to me. And the second part is a Meenakshi temple, which is there in Tamil Nadu. And this temple is one of the most famous temples of India, and it's made of colored stones that are found only there, right? So it is their heritage. It is their Tamil Nadu's culture that is very, very visible from this temple. And we can also touch and feel the temple, right? So similarly, if I ask you to give me example of tangible cultural heritage in Maharashtra, what would it be? Give me some examples of tangible cultural heritage in Maharashtra. वेमू, जो चीजों को हम देख सकते हैं, टच कर सकते हैं, फील कर सकते हैं. जुडानी टेम्पल इन विरार साइड. ओके करण. Mahmood, do you think Haji Ali would be a tangible cultural heritage? Do you think Haji Ali reflects our culture? Yes. Yes. Amazing. Do you think Siddhi Vinayak is a tangible cultural heritage? Mumbai Devi Temple. Yes. What about Gateway of India? Gateway of India. Tell me. Is that also? Amazing. So you got what it means. It's basically structures, right? Things that you can see, touch. Okay. Now we move on to the next example, which is intangible form. Intangible form would always include things that we can't see and physically touch. So festivals are things that we celebrate. Festivals are not the things that we see and we touch, right? So festivals will come under intangible form. Other than that, the knowledge that we inherit from our elders, like importance of haldi, importance of tulsi, like yoga, like what else? like just stories of our past, right? Like just stories of your village, things that are not in a very written form, in a very structured form. Those things are just passed on from one generation to another, right? Oral knowledge, oral traditions, all of that comes under intangible form. Is that clear? Clear? Not clear? What will be the examples of intangible forms of cultural heritage? Can you give certain examples? Okay. Give me some examples. One example, okay, everybody. Very easy. I think Saurabh already gave the example of yoga. Can we all also think about creative examples like that? एयर हमारा हेरिटेज नहीं है, कल्चर नहीं है हमारा. एयर सबके पास है, किसी भी सिटी में, किसी भी कंट्री में. So that wouldn't come under culture. Story, amazing. Yes, Shiva. Namaz. Namaz is a written form, so it would be tangible. It will not be intangible. Intangible वो चीज है जो लिखी हुई नहीं है. Knowledge from what? Written knowledge. Gita, namaz, all of these things will be tangible because they are written. You can see it, you can touch it. But the stories that your grandmother tells you, those are the things you can't touch. Do you think Ganpati, Ganesh Chaturthi is intangible form of cultural heritage? Women following their own ways of styling in front of others. Amazing, Ankit. Yes. Okay, guys. Games that are passed in generations. Amazing, Karan. That's a really good example. तुमने वो देखे गिट्टी खेली है या फिर marbles के साथ खेला है? हर जगह पे नहीं खेला जाता marbles के साथ, right? So those are the things that are passed from our past generations to us. Even Stapu, even all of this. This is such a good example, right? So that is intangible form. Okay. Now we move on to natural heritage. As you can see, on the left hand side, there are Western Ghats on which Maharashtra is placed. And on the right hand side, there are Himalayas of India. Both of these things we did not make. Nature gifted to us. But we are responsible for its protection. अगर यहाँ पे वेस्टर्न घाट्स के ट्रीज को कोई तोड़ता है या खराब करता है, राइट, सो वी डिस्ट्रॉय आवर ओन नेचर. So we are responsible for preserving it. We are responsible for protecting Himalayas, right? India is responsible for it. So it becomes a part of our natural heritage. Things that we get from nature, but now it's ours, so we have to protect it. Right. So now we'll just move to a very important part. This has come in majority of the board papers, so please listen to it carefully. The question would be, what is the difference between cultural and natural heritage? The first thing that you would write is that culture is human made, okay, not man made, because humans have women also. So culture is human made, human creation, and natural heritage is gifted to us by nature. The second thing that you can write about is that there are two types of cultural heritage, tangible and intangible. Tangible are the things that we can see, touch, and feel. Intangible are the things that we can't see or touch or feel. Those are knowledge, those are traditions, those are festivals. Then if we move on to natural heritage, in natural heritage, the best part is that it is about our biodiversity. What is biodiversity? Our nature. And nature has three main things: flora, fauna, and ecology. Okay. So that is the main difference between them. And from exam point of view, this is extremely important. Till now, have you understood everything? Cultural heritage, tangible, intangible, and natural heritage, or four things? Yes, no, little bit. Amazing, guys. So happy to see that you all have understood. Okay, amazing. So we're going to move forward. I sent a video on our chat. Did you see that video? Mahmood, I can repeat it once again on WhatsApp, okay? If that is okay, if you can ask me the doubt. Because we have to move forward. Okay, did you see that video? What was there in the video? If you haven't seen it, just tell me if you haven't seen it. It's fine. We'll just skip this part. नहीं देखा तो बता दो guys. It's okay. I'm just waiting for 5 seconds. Just write yes or no. No. Okay. 1, 2. Yes, about UNESCO. 3, 4, 5. I think majority of you have not seen it. As soon as the class ends, the first thing that you're doing is watching that video first of all. It's a 2-minute video. Very, very short. Do that. What it tells you about is that there was an organization started by United Nations, okay, to preserve the culture of the world. Now, why do you think United Nations wanted to preserve the culture of the world? United Nations का main काम क्या है? What was the main function of United Nations? Can you tell me what was the main function of United Nations? We did it in class so many times. Peace. Spelling गलत रखी है but emotion सही है Karan. So the main function of culture United Nations was peace. And when did United Nations start? When did United Nations start? Can you tell me? Date याद है? अच्छा, when did World War II end? Make good relations with the whole nations. Amazing, Mahmood. In 1945. Amazing, Ankit. So, United Nations started as soon as World War II ended. World War II led to so much violence and so much animosity between people. People stopped respecting each other. They were so violent. They were actually threatening other people, destroying their culture, destroying their temples, destroying their mosques, destroying their forts. So nobody was respecting the other person's culture, and they were doing so much violence that United Nations had to come up with an idea through which we can respect each other more, through which we can bring more peace. So they came up with the idea of UNESCO. I'll tell you the full form later. The main idea behind UNESCO is कि हमें एक दूसरे के कल्चर को रिस्पेक्ट करनी चाहिए, एक दूसरे के कल्चर को पीसफुली ट्रीट करना चाहिए और एक दूसरे के कल्चर को बचाना चाहिए ताकि हमारे पूरे वर्ल्ड में यूनिटी आए. जब मैं हाजी अली को रिस्पेक्ट करूंगी और जब एक मुस्लिम इंसान सिद्धि विनायक को रिस्पेक्ट करेगा, तभी हम एक दूसरे को रिस्पेक्ट कर सकते हैं. वरना एक दूसरे को या एक दूसरे के धर्म को रिस्पेक्ट करना हमारे लिए मुश्किल होगा. Right? Similarly, when I respect a church which is in London, okay, when I respect their religious place and they respect my religious place, अगर उन लोगों ने सिद्धि विनायक पे बॉम्ब ब्लास्ट कर दिया, obviously I will be very, very offended. अगर उन्होंने हाजी अली पे करा बॉम्ब ब्लास्ट, तो I will be very, very offended, right? Because they kind of attacked my country. But if they respect my worship place, then I will also respect their worship place. So main idea of UNESCO was कि हम पूरे वर्ल्ड को एक दूसरे का कल्चर को रिस्पेक्ट करना सिखाएं. ओके, अब हम ये कैसे सिखाएंगे? उन्होंने क्या किया? These are the main functions of UNESCO. उनका मेन काम क्या था कि जो भी वर्ल्ड में कल्चर खराब हो रहा है, हम उसको जाके प्रोटेक्ट करेंगे. अब वो प्रोटेक्ट कैसे करते हैं? जैसे ताजमहल में एक बहुत ब्लैक परत आ रही थी, राइट? ताजमहल इज वन ऑफ द 7 वंडर्स ऑफ द वर्ल्ड. इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर इंडिया. It has a white marble color that was getting affected by the pollution around Taj Mahal. वहां पे बहुत सारी इंडस्ट्रीज खुल गई थी, तो उसकी वजह से वहां पे पूरे में पोल्यूशन हो रही थी, जिससे एक ब्लैक सी परत पूरे ताजमहल पे हो रही थी, राइट? सो वो जो ब्लैक परत है उसको हटाने का काम यूनेस्को ने अपने सर पे लिया. So what they did was they wanted to protect Taj Mahal, and in order to protect Taj Mahal, they started a construction work जिसमें उन्होंने सबकी सेंटिमेंट्स ध्यान में रख के ताजमहल को रिकलर किया. उन्होंने एक प्लान बनाया जिसके अंदर उन्होंने ये बोला कि जो वहां के आसपास की इंडस्ट्रीज है उन्हें बंद होना चाहिए, बिकॉज अदरवाइज ताजमहल पे बहुत नेगेटिव इम्पैक्ट होएगा एसिड रेन से, right? So they worked towards protecting Taj Mahal. Similarly, they worked also towards protecting a lot of Egyptian, what are they called, pyramids. Okay, तो 1945 में क्या हुआ था, इजिप्ट में बहुत बड़ा फ्लड आया था एंड उसके अंदर सारे पिरामिड्स पूरे पानी के अंदर धंस रहे थे. तो उन्होंने क्या किया, उन्होंने एक ऐसा काम शुरू करा जिसके अंदर उन्होंने उन पिरामिड्स को उनकी लोकेशन से उठाया, उन्हें प्रोटेक्ट किया और उन्हें दूसरी जगह पे लाके प्लेस किया, राइट? सो दैट इज हाउ दे प्रोटेक्ट द मॉन्यूमेंट्स across the world, okay, and save everybody's culture and try to bring about more unity. So it is a global organization, okay? So its main function is to preserve heritage, right? To preserve heritage. Now this heritage can be cultural and also natural. अब नेचुरल में क्या एग्जांपल होगा, जैसे हमारी वेस्टर्न घाट्स में बहुत सारे ट्रीज हैं और बहुत डिफॉरेस्टेशन हो रही थी, तो वो जो डिफॉरेस्टेशन है वो वो रुकवाई यूनेस्को ने, राइट? जो सारे ट्रीज कट रहे थे उसको यूनेस्को ने बोला नो, दिस इज योर नेचुरल हेरिटेज, यू कैन नॉट misuse your natural heritage, and they protected our natural heritage, right? So that is how UNESCO helps in protecting culture, be it heritage, be it cultural or natural, okay? It is a global organization and it has a list of world heritages. So not just 7 wonders of the world, but also a list of world heritages that you can see in your textbook. There is also a whole page dedicated to it. So बहुत सारी जितने भी कल्चरल हेरिटेज है, जितने भी नेचुरल हेरिटेज है, सब उस एक लिस्ट के अंदर आते हैं जिसको यूनेस्को प्रोटेक्ट करने का प्रॉमिस लेता है पूरे वर्ल्ड के. ऑलराइट, नाउ फुल फॉर्म ऑफ यूनेस्को इज यूनाइटेड नेशंस एजुकेशनल, साइंटिफिक एंड कल्चरल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. You don't have to remember it because it's not in the book, but you have to remember that its last part is cultural organization, right? So our main focus is how it protects culture. We're not getting into educational and scientific part for now. All right, did you understand the function of UNESCO? That it is a global organization, it is a world level organization. It works towards preserving our heritage both in culture and nature. Two main things that you have to remember. Do you think you can remember them? Okay, amazing. Waiting for the rest of you to respond. Okay, thanks guys. All right, great. Okay, we move forward. We move to another concept that is there in small boxes in your textbook on page 18, I think. It is called archives. Now, can you tell me what is that one thing without which a library cannot exist? लाइब्रेरी के अंदर एक वन एसेंशियल जो होना ही होना चाहिए, उसके बिना लाइब्रेरी का कोई मतलब नहीं है. What is that one thing? Books. Amazing, right? बुक्स के बिना लाइब्रेरी नहीं हो सकती. और आर्काइव्स और लाइब्रेरी में सिर्फ यही फर्क है. ओके, स्टॉप. I got it. It's books. आर्काइव्स और लाइब्रेरी में यही फर्क है. Archives can exist without books. Okay, archives can exist without books. Now, what exactly is archive? Okay, it looks like a library. Okay, and it has a lot of past information, but not just in the form of books. It has a lot of original documents. Okay, like जब इंडिया और पाकिस्तान का पार्टीशन हुआ था तब हमने एक डॉक्यूमेंट को साइन किया था कि ओके, यहाँ तक की इंडिया की बाउंड्री है, इसके पीछे का पाकिस्तान है, राइट? एंड वी आल्सो सेड ओके, यहाँ पे ईस्ट पाकिस्तान है, यहाँ पे वेस्ट पाकिस्तान है, एंड हमने वो पूरा डिफाइन किया. वो सब हमने एक पेपर पे लिख के साइन किया, राइट? नाउ व्हाई इज दैट पेपर इंपॉर्टेंट? इट इज इंपॉर्टेंट बिकॉज व्हेन पाकिस्तान क्लेम्स कि Punjab is a part of Pakistan, for example, or when it randomly says Rajasthan is a part of Pakistan, we can show them that document, we can show them that evidence and say, okay, you signed on this treaty. In this treaty, it is written Rajasthan is a part of India. So you cannot ask for Rajasthan right now. It is not fair, right? So for that, we have to protect all those old documents. How do we do that? Where do we do that? What is the location where all of these things are kept? It is kept in archives. Okay. Now, do you think these archives can belong to private individuals like me and you? Do you think all these important documents, all these important movies, right? They cannot can they belong to me and you? Who would be responsible for keeping all of these records, all of these documents? Who do you think should have access to these records? इन records को किसके पास होना चाहिए? Government के पास. Amazing, Karan. Who else? The government, right? Exactly. So the government keeps all of these records, not just the prime minister, the whole government has all of these records with them. So we have something called the National Archive of India, which keeps all India related information, all India related information, all India related important documents, official records in that place, right? So this place is there in New Delhi. Some places even we have access to, we can go and see those documents. Some places we cannot even go, they are so official, right? So this, the National Archive of India, जो भी हम सारी treaties पढ़ते हैं, जो भी हम सारे promises पढ़ते हैं, जैसे अभी चाइना और इंडिया की कितनी लड़ाई हो रही है बॉर्डर पे, तो हमारी लड़ाई पूरी इन डॉक्यूमेंट्स के बेसिस पे ही हो रही है कि तुमने बोला था तुम LAC के इस तरफ पर अटैक नहीं कर सकते तो तुम नहीं कर सकते, इट्स रॉन्ग, राइट? सो वी विल शो देम आवर डॉक्यूमेंट्स, दे विल शो देयर डॉक्यूमेंट्स एंड वील हैव अ फाइट, राइट? सो दैट इज हाउ we have the fight, because we save these documents with us and it is there in New Delhi. Okay, so nation related सारे documents यहाँ हैं. Do you think we also need state archives? मतलब महाराष्ट्र का अलग आर्काइव होना चाहिए. Do you think तमिलनाडु का, महाराष्ट्र का, या फिर जम्मू कश्मीर का खुद का अपना आर्काइव होना चाहिए? Why, Saurabh? Why do you think that we should have state archives also? जब नेशन का है ही, उसमें भी तो महाराष्ट्र की इंफॉर्मेशन होगी ना? Okay, why no, Ankit? Why yes, Saurabh? Why yes, Shiva? Why yes, Karan? Why do you think we need a state archive? स्टेट की ऐसी कौन सी डॉक्यूमेंट्स होती हैं जो सेपरेटली हमको रखनी है? Why do we need that? Can you? Because they are within the country, that is why. Okay, Ankit says that हमें सिर्फ नेशनल आर्काइव रखना चाहिए, स्टेट आर्काइव नहीं रखना चाहिए, क्योंकि स्टेट नेशन का ही हिस्सा है तो उसका सामान उसके अंदर फिट आ जाएगा. बट डू यू थिंक कि स्टेट बॉर्डर्स, अमेजिंग Karan, good point, right? So Karan is saying that yes, स्टेट के अपने आर्काइव्स होने चाहिए, क्योंकि स्टेट्स के खुद के बॉर्डर्स होते हैं, खुद के कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स होते हैं, तो हमें उससे रिलेटेड डॉक्यूमेंट स्टेट के अंदर रखनी चाहिए. कभी कभी सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट भी एक दिक्कत में पड़ जाता है, राइट? एंड कभी कभी सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट का जो आर्काइव है उसके अंदर वो इतनी सारी डॉक्यूमेंट्स होती है कि हर स्टेट की डिटेल्स में डॉक्यूमेंट इट कैन नॉट प्रिजर्व. लाइक a Maharashtrian archive will have a whole floor dedicated to Shivaji, but in a national archive we won't have that much space. We will not keep so many things related to Shivaji or documents of Shivaji, right? We will keep things that are of current importance, right? So that is why states keep their own archives. Two reasons. First, they have a fight on their boundaries as well. Okay, जैसे पहले Nagaland was not a state, it became a state, it has its own history, states have their own history, right? Similarly, Sikkim was not a state, it became a state. Similarly, like Maharashtra has had so many conflicts. When Shiv Sena came out, Marathi लोगों का कितना problem था, उसके बाद Shiv Sena आया, and so many things changed in Maharashtra. Maharashtra has its own history about Shivaji. Maharashtra has its own documents, important documents, right? So, and महाराष्ट्र की अपनी स्टेट के अंदर भी तो कितने सारे डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स है, कितने सारे एरियाज है जिनके बारे में इंफॉर्मेशन सेव करके रखनी है, राइट? तो वो सब चीजें अगर हम सिर्फ एक ही जगह रखेंगे तो कंफ्यूजन हो जाएगी. पर अगर हम अपनी स्टेट्स की भी यस, अमेजिंग शिवा. इफ दो स्टेट्स के बीच में लड़ाई होती है तो फिर सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट क्या करेगी, राइट? कौन से आर्काइव्स किसकी हेल्प करेगी? सो दैट इज व्हाई आल्सो स्टेट्स हैव टू हैव देयर आर्काइव्स, because if two states fight, we have our own documents as well. Okay, so there are a lot of reasons for which we also need state archives along with national archive. Okay, so that we have state specific information with us. Got it? So अभी तक हमने two main archives पढ़े. First is national, which is nation related, and second is state. National archive, and then there is state archive. Now there is another form of archive. Okay, ये वाले दोनों क्लियर है कि ये क्यों होते हैं और ये क्यों एग्जिस्ट करते हैं कंट्री के अंदर? स्टेट आर्काइव स्टेट गवर्नमेंट चलाती है, नेशनल आर्काइव सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट चलाती है. क्लियर? अमेजिंग. ओके, नाउ एक तीसरा टाइप का आर्काइव होता है, वो होता है पर्पस रिलेटेड आर्काइव. पर्पस रिलेटेड आर्काइव, तो स्पेसिफिक चीजों के लिए आर्काइव. ठीक है, स्पेसिफिक इशू के लिए आर्काइव, जैसे कि नेचर रिलेटेड आर्काइव. सबसे कॉमन पर्पस रिलेटेड आर्काइव जो हमारी कंट्री के अंदर है वो है फिल्म नेशनल फिल्म आर्काइव ऑफ इंडिया. अच्छा, आप मुझे ये बताओ कि हमें मूवीज के लिए एक स्पेसिफिक आर्काइव की क्या जरूरत है? Why do you think we need an archive only specifically for movies? एक जगह जहां पे हमने पूरे नेशन में जितनी आज तक मूवीज बनी है सारी मूवीज रख दी. Why is that required? Why do we need National Film Archive of India? Respond, guys, respond. Why do you think we have to save all the films at one place? What will be the use? To have proper record of movies. Why do we need a record? Umar, movies are for entertainment. Movies देख के हमें क्या पता चलता है? Entertainment हो गई, खत्म, आगे बढ़ो. Why do we want to keep a record of that? Do you think we learn about Mughal history by looking at movies? Watch it later. Okay, तो watch it later. करण later देख के क्या होएगा, क्या मिलेगा? करण एक का सबको चैट में भेजो, जहां 2 है उस पे एवरीबडी लिख दो. मेरा नाम होगा उसको हटा के एवरीबडी करो. Sometimes it is history. Yes, sometimes it is history. Amazing. But when it's not history, like Gully Boy, why do you want to save Gully Boy? Why do we want to preserve Gully Boy as a movie? What does it show? It just is just something like entertainment movie. It's just has good rap songs. Why do we have to save it? Hard work. No, Umar, everybody does hard work. अगले साल भी नई मूवी बन जाएगी हार्ड वर्क पे. एंटरटेन करती है तो संभाल के क्या रखना, अगली मूवी एंटरटेन करेगी ना. Generation changes to know new generations. Amazing, Ankit. It basically talks about a particular culture. Like when you watch a movie, you will be able to see, okay, लोग पहले ऐसे कपड़े पहनते थे, लोग ये बातें करते थे, right? Maybe after coronavirus, maybe there will be no Dharavi. Look at the condition of Dharavi, right? So many people are getting infected, so many people are leaving Dharavi, right? And so many things are happening there. So if we imagine things to get really worse in the coming months, maybe nobody will live in Dharavi, right? It won't exist. तो आज से 30 साल बाद अगर हमें किसी बच्चे को बताना हो कि धारावी का कल्चर क्या था, लोग वहां रहते कैसे थे, रैप सॉन्ग का कल्चर क्या था, वहां पे लाइफस्टाइल क्या था, लोग रहते कैसे थे, राइट? तो उस सब के बारे में अगर हमें बताना है, we can just show them Gully Boy, right? And they will be able to know about so much about Dharavi in such great details in about Mumbai culture, about underground culture, right? So basically we preserve these old movies, these rare movies to know about the past culture. Okay? Yes, amazing, Shiva. Knowing about other things, just understanding the culture more, and not just culture. A lot of other purposes are there as well. We'll go line wise. So there are three main purposes. First is to search rare films and preserve them for future generations. इसका मतलब जो बहुत नायाब movies बनी है, जो timeless है, उनको preserve करना है. जैसे तारे जमीन पर is one such movie that is made with so much effort that we want to preserve it for future generations to make them realize the importance of like learning, importance of differently abled kids, right? So Tare Zameen Par is one such rare movie that we want to preserve. Second thing is to categorize different films and documentaries and keep them together for research purposes. For example, I want to know about the Mughals. There have been so many movies and documentaries made on the Mughals throughout the history. So what I will do is I'll keep all of them at one place. Now, if Ankit has to research on Mughal history, then he will come to my archive. He will see this column and he will see, okay, all the Mughal movies are kept here. So I can see all of them and automatically know about the history of Mughals, right? So I won't have to do the effort of going to every state, figuring out, अच्छा ये पुरानी movie थी, ये नई movie थी. तो मेरी research बहुत easy हो गई because it's categorically organized, right? Everything is kept in one place. So this is the second purpose. The third purpose is to create a center from where all film related information can be given. मतलब अगर हमें मूवी से रिलेटेड कुछ भी जानना है, we directly go to this place, right? And we will get all the information. कब कौन सी मूवी रिलीज हुई थी, कब कौन सी मूवी बैन हुई थी, क्या क्या प्रॉब्लम्स हुई आज तक मूवीज में, पुरानी पुरानी VCR वगैरह की मूवीज, कुछ भी जो भी हमें फिल्म से रिलेटेड जानना है, we can just go to National Film Archives of India. It is there in Pune, Maharashtra, and it was established in 1964. These are the three main purposes. The fourth purpose that I feel is very important is that it tells us a lot about the culture, right? The culture of people. So we will be able to understand a lot about the culture, and that is why we preserve movies. Okay? Did you understand the purpose? Did you understand why we have archives with a distinct purpose? Amazing. So now how many, Shiva, can you tell me how many archives have we talked about till now? What are the archives we talked about till now? Anybody can try. Sanya, do you want to try? Karan, Ankit, what are the main archives we have talked about till now? National Archives, amazing. Karan, what else? What are the other archives? I'm not going to say it, Karan. I'm going to wait for others. Amazing, Anisha. State archives. The third archive? Which is the third one? Ankit, it's not just film archives. Film archives is an example. Archives with a special purpose, right? So the third thing is archives with a special purpose, and film archives is an example of that, specific example of that. Okay? So three things: national, state, archives with a specific purpose. In archives with a specific purpose, we have one example, which is National Film Archives of India. Okay? Now we move forward to an organization known as Archaeological Survey of India. This is the last part, so please bear with me. Okay? Just be patient. Okay. So in Archaeological Survey of India, it is an organization that is like UNESCO. Okay. तो यूनेस्को का काम क्या था कि सारे कल्चर को प्रोटेक्ट करना, प्रिजर्व करना. आर्कियोलॉजिकल सर्वे ऑफ इंडिया का भी सेम काम है. इन दोनों में डिफरेंस ये है, यूनेस्को वर्ल्ड हेरिटेज प्रोटेक्ट करता है, तो वो हर कल्चर को प्रोटेक्ट करता है, और आर्कियोलॉजिकल सर्वे ऑफ इंडिया सिर्फ इंडिया के कल्चर को प्रोटेक्ट करता है. तो सिर्फ इंडिया रिलेटेड चीजों को प्रोटेक्ट करेगा. विल आर्कियोलॉजिकल सर्वे ऑफ इंडिया प्रोटेक्ट आईफिल टावर? डू यू थिंक आर्कियोलॉजिकल सर्वे ऑफ इंडिया विल प्रोटेक्ट आईफिल टावर which is there in Paris? No, right? Do you think archaeological survey of India will help UNESCO in protecting Taj Mahal? Yes, right? Because it's working towards protection and preservation of culture and nature of India. Okay, now how do they work? They work on simple principles, some main principles. Okay, and these principles I will show you them now. One second. These are the main principles on which archaeological survey of India works. Principles माने rules या norms जो वो follow करते हैं. सबसे पहली चीज कि जो ओरिजिनल स्टेट है उस कल्चरल साइट की, उसको डैमेज करे बिना रिपेयर करना. डैमेज करे बिना माने ताजमहल को अगर हम रिपेयर कर रहे हैं तो हम उसका कलर ब्लू या पिंक नहीं करेंगे. उसकी ओरिजिनल स्टेट का जो कलर है, जो व्हाइट उसका कलर था, हमें उसकी ओरिजिनल स्टेट पे उसको लेके जाना है. Right? So we will not change its character. We will not change the way Taj Mahal looks. We will just stop. We will just repair the damage. Okay? We will just repair the damage. Okay? The second thing, we will also think of the challenges faced by the local people. Now, जो भी लोग ताज महल के आसपास रहते थे, क्योंकि वहां पे बहुत सारी इंडस्ट्रीज थी, राइट? वो इंडस्ट्रीज से वो पोल्यूशन निकलती थी, पोल्यूशन से ताजमहल खराब हो रहा था और काला हो रहा था. ओके, उसकी वजह से यूनेस्को ने सोचा कि हम ताजमहल वो वाली सारी इंडस्ट्रीज बंद कर देंगे, राइट? अगर वो इंडस्ट्रीज बंद कर देते हैं तो वहां के लोकल लोगों को क्या नुकसान होगा? टेल मी. इफ वी क्लोज ऑल द इंडस्ट्रीज around Taj Mahal, what will be a disadvantage for the people living around Taj Mahal? What do you think would be economy problems? Amazing. What very specific problem? Money. What else? Money se close, Shiva. Why would there be a money problem? Industry is owned by one person. अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट. एग्जैक्टली उमर. तो वहां पे इतनी सारी जब इंडस्ट्रीज थी, उसमें इतने लोग काम करते थे, उनकी आमदनी खत्म हो गई, उनकी एम्प्लॉयमेंट खत्म हो गई, राइट? सो दे वर फेसिंग दैट प्रॉब्लम. दैट्स व्हेन आर्कियोलॉजी ऑफ इंडिया केम एंड सेड नहीं, ऐसे हम सब कुछ बंद नहीं कर सकते. व्हाट वी विल डू इज, हम इन इंडस्ट्रीज को इधर से थोड़े दूर पे एक लैंड दे देते हैं ताकि ताजमहल भी खराब ना हो और लोगों को अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट भी फेस ना करनी पड़े. So you have to take care about what are the challenges faced by the local people there. Okay. The third thing that you have to take care about is to avoid hurting sentiments of people. So what happens, sentiments मतलब हमारी कुछ emotions attached होती है उन cultural heritages से, जो लोग वहां आसपास रहते हैं, तो हमें उस emotion को संभाल के दिमाग में रख के सारी चीजें करनी है. जो कंजर्वेशन, जो प्रेजर्वेशन, जो भी करना है, हमें उसको दिमाग में रख के करना है. लाइक अ लॉट ऑफ फॉरेनर्स विजिट हाजी अली और सिद्धि विनायक, राइट? They don't know that we have to take off our shoes before visiting Siddhi Vinayak. So what archaeological survey of India has done is that they have created a rule कि सिद्धि विनायक के अंदर एंटर करने से पहले आपको अपनी चप्पल उतारनी ही उतारनी है, क्योंकि उन लोगों को नहीं पता उतारनी है तो वो तो ऐसे ही चले जाते, राइट? और उससे वहां के लोकल लोगों का इमोशन, सेंटिमेंट हर्ट होता अगर लोग चप्पल पहन के मंदिर के अंदर चले जाते. उस चीज को ध्यान में रखते हुए दे क्रिएटेड दिस रूल. ओके, सो यू हैव टू थिंक अबाउट द सेंटिमेंट ऑफ पीपल, ऑफ लोकल पीपल related to that particular structure. Okay, the fourth thing is participation of local people. जैसे अभी एक गंगा का एक प्रोजेक्ट है, गंगा को साफ करने का एक प्रोजेक्ट है जो मोदी जी ने शुरू करा है, और आर्मी का एक नया स्पेशल टास्क फोर्स बनाई गई है which is specifically only to clean गंगा, right? what that task force did was कि वहां बनारस में या वाराणसी में जितने भी लोग हैं जो गंगा के तट पे रहते हैं, उन लोगों की मदद लेके, उन लोगों की पार्टिसिपेशन लेके, उन लोगों को एम्प्लॉयमेंट देके, राइट, उन्होंने गंगा को साफ करना शुरू किया. आर्मी ने अकेले नहीं किया. They took participation of local people because local people feel connected to Ganga more, right? And they also got employment in that way, and they were also participating in the whole process of conserving our natural heritage, which is Ganga, right? So we take the participation of local people also into account, right? That is one of the main parts here. The last part is भाई एम्प्लॉयमेंट अपॉर्चुनिटी बनी ना, जब तुमने गंगा के प्रोटेक्शन के लिए उन लोगों को एम्प्लॉय करा, तो यू गिव एम्प्लॉयमेंट अपॉर्चुनिटी टू देम. वन मोर एग्जांपल ऑफ एम्प्लॉयमेंट अपॉर्चुनिटी इज दैट एक महेश्वर करके एक फोर्ट है, उस फोर्ट को रिन्यू किया गया, पूरा ठीक किया गया, कंजर्व किया गया. तो क्या हुआ कि उधर एक बहुत बड़ा कमरा था, उस कमरे को उन्होंने कैसे यूज किया, व्हाट दे डिड वाज कि महेश्वर की जितनी सारी औरतें थी, दे यूज्ड टू मेक वेरी वेरी इंट्रिकेट महेश्वरी साड़ीज. तो उन्होंने उन सब औरतों को वो जगह दे दी महेश्वर फोर्ट के अंदर कि आप यहीं बैठ के साड़ी बनाओ और यहीं बेचो. तो जितने भी टूरिस्ट वो फोर्ट देखने आते थे, वो वहां उन औरतों से वो साड़ियां भी खरीदते थे, राइट? सो दोज वुमेन गॉट एम्प्लॉयमेंट इनसाइड दैट फोर्ट. So these are the things that you have to take care of when you are protecting or preserving a monument. Okay, so a monument is not just one single building. Okay, it comes with a lot of emotions, it comes with a lot of responsibility, and it comes with a lot of care about the local people who live around that monument. Okay, so these are the things that Archaeological Survey of India takes into account when they are preserving any natural or cultural heritage. Did you understand? Not understand? Guys, respond. क्या नहीं समझे? Little bit. Oh shit. Can you ask me what you didn't understand? Oh. Can you ask me a specific doubt? Guys, specific doubt पूछ सकते हो आप. Rest of you, did you understand? Did not understand? Not clear. What is not clear? Not clear so far. Okay. देखो, सबसे पहला पॉइंट, जब आर्कियोलॉजिकल सर्वे ऑफ इंडिया कुछ भी चीज को प्रिजर्व कर रहा हो, जैसे ताजमहल को प्रिजर्व कर रहा हो, तो ताजमहल को डैमेज नहीं कर सकता, राइट? क्योंकि उसको बहुत ध्यान से प्रिजर्व करना होगा. तो अगर तुम्हें एक पार्ट को ठीक करना है, तो तुम दूसरे पार्ट को तोड़ नहीं सकते, राइट? तो यू हैव टू प्रिजर्व इट वेरी वेरी केयरफुली. द सेकेंड इज यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड द प्रॉब्लम ऑफ लोकल पीपल जो वहां पे अभी रहते हैं. हिस्ट्री तो हो गई, अभी लोकल लोगों की भी प्रॉब्लम समझो. तो अगर जो ताजमहल के आसपास की इंडस्ट्रीज थी, वो अगर ताजमहल को इम्पैक्ट करी थी, उसका हेरिटेज खराब करी थी, और आपका सोल्यूशन था इंडस्ट्री बंद कर दो, तो उससे लोकल लोगों को तो नुकसान हुआ ना, राइट? So we have to provide an alternative solution to the local people as well. We have to consider their position as well. Okay, that is the second point, to understand the challenges of the local people. इतना समझ आया? 2 पॉइंट समझ आए? डैमेज नहीं करना, लोकल लोगों की दिक्कत समझनी है. जैसे कि ताजमहल को ब्लू या रेड कलर नहीं कर सकते आप. इतना समझ आए? 2 पॉइंट. ओके ओके. थर्ड पॉइंट ये है कि लोकल लोगों की सेंटिमेंट एसोसिएटेड होती है, इमोशन एसोसिएटेड होती है उस पर्टिकुलर कल्चरल प्लेस से. तो अगर कोई टेम्पल के अंदर चप्पल पहन के जाएगा तो आपकी सेंटिमेंट हर्ट होगी? डू यू थिंक आपकी सेंटिमेंट हर्ट होगी अगर कोई चप्पल पहन के मंदिर के अंदर जा रहा होगा, आप उसको रोकोगे? यस राइट। उमर, अगर कोई बिना सर कवर करे हाजी अली में जाएगा तो यू विल स्टॉप दैट पर्सन, राइट? सो हम अपने इमोशन, उस सेंटिमेंट को ध्यान में रख के आर्कियोलॉजी ऑफ इंडिया काम करती है। वो क्या बोलती है कि अगर लोगों को हमारा कल्चर समझ नहीं आ रहा, जैसे जो लोग गोरे वगैरह हमारी कंट्री में आते हैं और वो लोग मंदिर को देखने आते हैं एज अ हिस्टोरिकल साइट, उन्हें हमारे सेंटिमेंट नहीं समझ आते, उन्हें नहीं समझ आता कि चप्पल उतार के जाना है, तो इसलिए उन्होंने उनके लिए रूल ही बना दिया कि आपको यहाँ पे चप्पल उतारे बिना आप एंटर नहीं कर सकते, राइट? तो वो रूल बनाना बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट था। अगर वो ये रूल नहीं बनाते तो हमारी सेंटिमेंट्स हर्ट होती, राइट? सो दे, when they are preserving Siddhivinayak, when they are protecting Siddhivinayak, when they are making those lines, right? At that time, they are also making sure that the sentiment of people is not hurt. तो मंदिर में एंटर करने से पहले they made it a rule and they gave a place for people to keep their shoes, right? Did you understand how they protect the sentiment of people? Yes, no, maybe? Okay. फिर फोर्थ पार्ट के अंदर है पार्टिसिपेशन। पार्टिसिपेशन में क्या होता है कि जैसे अगर कोई कंस्ट्रक्शन वर्क हो रहा है, जैसे ताजमहल में हम दोबारा पेंट कर रहे हैं, तो हम वहीं के लोकल लोगों को बोलेंगे भाई तुम आके पेंट करो, राइट? क्योंकि उनकी एक तो सेंटिमेंट एसोसिएटेड है ताजमहल से, प्लस उनको एम्प्लॉयमेंट भी मिलेगी, तो उनका फायदा भी होगा। इंस्टेड कि हम कोई फॉरेनर को बुलाएं ताजमहल को रिपेयर करने के लिए, हम वहां के लोकल लोगों से वो काम कराएंगे। क्लियर? तो हम पार्टिसिपेशन इंश्योर करते हैं। ओके, लास्ट पॉइंट कि हम लोगों को एम्प्लॉयमेंट भी देते हैं। एम्प्लॉयमेंट कैसे देते हैं? जैसे आप हाजी अली के बाहर देखते हो कितने सारे लोग अपने स्टॉल्स लगा के खड़े होते हैं, राइट? तो वो उनकी आमदनी आ रही है उधर से। सिर्फ वो एक मॉन्यूमेंट नहीं है, वहां से लोग एम्प्लॉयमेंट भी कर रहे हैं। सिद्धिविनायक मंदिर के बाहर कितने लोग लड्डू पेड़े बांट रहे हैं, राइट? तो उन लोगों की भी एम्प्लॉयमेंट है वहां से, राइट? So they are getting employment out of that historical monument. It's not just a monument. Even at Gateway of India, people are clicking pictures to earn money, right? So that is how people get employment through historical sites as well. Even natural sites, when you go to जैसे ये forest safari, या फिर when you go to ferry rides, right? तो तुम sea में भी employment है, जो शिप चलाते हैं। तो हम लोगों को एम्प्लॉयमेंट अपॉर्चुनिटीज दे रहे हैं हेरिटेज के आसपास। गेटवे ऑफ इंडिया के आसपास पिक्चरें खिंचवा रहे हैं, सिद्धिविनायक के आसपास लड्डू पेड़े बांट रहे हैं, हाजी अली के आसपास शॉप्स खोल रहे हैं, राइट? सो दोज मॉन्यूमेंट्स ऑल्सो गिव एम्प्लॉयमेंट टू पीपल। डिड यू अंडरस्टैंड? एंड दिस इज पॉसिबल ओनली इफ आर्कियोलॉजिकल सर्वे ऑफ इंडिया परमिट देम। सो अगर आर्कियोलॉजिकल सर्वे ऑफ इंडिया ये परमिशन नहीं देता तो उनको ये एम्प्लॉयमेंट नहीं मिलती। समझ आया? Okay, great, all clear. Now we move to the last part. These are two facts that you just have to remember because they are important from exam point of view. First is जो पहला म्यूजियम है वर्ल्ड का, वो उस एक सिटी थी उर, मेसोपोटामिया में, वहां पे मिला था। दूसरी चीज, एक इंडियन म्यूजियम है जो कोलकाता में था, जो पहला हमारा म्यूजियम था, वो एशियाटिक सोसाइटी ने खोला था 1814 सीई में। ये दो चीजें आपको याद ही रखनी है, इसमें कोई आगे पीछे नहीं है, right? So we end our class here. I hope you all understood and everything is clear to you. You have to make notes by I will send notes on our WhatsApp group. You have to copy them in your notebooks, okay? You have to make those notes and copy them in your notebooks. After that, I will give you a question bank tomorrow, and then you have to write that question bank. So you have to write all the question answers from applied history. So read the textbook, write the notes, then write the question bank. Same things that we used to do in class. Clear? And I want everybody to do it, okay? जितने 17 लोग यहाँ पे थे, 17 के 17 ये काम करेंगे। दीदी ने मेहनत करी है तो तुम्हें भी करनी है अब, ओके? All right, it was really amazing teaching you all. Thank you for bearing with me and being so active. I really enjoyed today. Genuinely, it was a lot of fun. I'm going to stop sharing. Okay, just I'm going to unmute you all so that we can say bye to each other. Okay, bye guys. Have fun and do the work. Write the notes. Okay, bye everybody. Thank you for being such a sport. Bye. I'm going to end the call, okay? You can tell me on chat if you like the class today or not.